Good part of the day, my dear digital friends. Anna Dieter is here, your passionate advocate for the new approach towards all speech difficulties, all speech imperfections. Okay, so today's multi streaming topic is My Child Stutters. How can I help? So, if you are a person who stutters and you are still very young, and I just found that this is the case a lot of the time, that young people, basically children, teenagers, find my program and they begin communicating with me directly, which is amazing to me because children today are having access to everything that is available online. And in a way, they know how internet works better than we parents, right? So today is February the 25th. It is 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and I am here to answer any questions of you people who stutter, or your mommy, daddy, or any other family member who worried, who are family members who are worried about you and other children in your family. So today I am even thinking about just starting a whole new program specifically for training the parents how to help parents to be the best facilitators of totally normal development of speaking skills of their children. And we're going to talk about it today. Before I see people joining me, before I see more people joining me, I will begin explaining to you why I have decided to address directly this group of people in today's world. Why the parents are supposed to be the most important members of my program. They're supposed to be behind me in everything I do because I am, okay, let me put it in this way. Of course, I can explain to anyone how to fix their speech in almost no time. I can explain it, but it's so much easier to begin explaining this simple, very simple information to begin with young children, not to even allow them to go through what adult stutterers have been through. It's too much of a time wasted, too many struggles. Why struggle? Why? When stuttering in reality is a simple immaturity of speaking behavior. Immaturity. It's a childish behavior. This is why when any child begins to show struggles with oral communication, this is the time when we should be able to help our children. And while I am giving this presentation, I'm going to be reading. If I see any questions, of course, I will be answering your question. So Sujan Khanal wrote, what to do when you get blocked at a word? This is a very good question. But before I answer this question, Sujan or Suyan, I don't know how to read your name, you need to understand why you are having a block at a word. Why? What does it mean to have a block? And in order for you to understand this, at least beginning to understand, I want to ask you, imagine that you want to write something, but you are not sure how to spell the word. Your name looks very familiar, and I know that you have listened to me before. And you know that I very often compare the way we speak with the tongue to the way we write with a different part of our body, with the hand. So when we write the word, we are moving our hand. We are writing letter by letter, right? But when we speak, we don't move our hand. This knowledge, this experience, these skills, we cannot use for moving the tongue. So if you do know, you have trained your hand to move, to write the word, this is great. But this will never help you to say the word. And if you know how to write the word, you will never block in writing this word, right? But unfortunately, if you still haven't learned to say the word with your tongue, you will always continue blocking. Blocking. Why? Again, if you have learned this word but haven't learned the other word, how to write. Imagine you know how to write, no, I don't know, any word. Sujan, that's your name, Sujan or Suyan. I don't know how to read it again. But imagine you have learned how to write the word, how to move your hand to write letters S, U, J, A, N, right? You've learned it. So now, whenever you begin writing this word, you will never ever stumble. You will never get blocked, right? But now, let's say you need to say the word. Now, the question is, do you know how your tongue is supposed to move to say the word Sujan? Do you know that? I am sure you don't. This is why you are just like a little baby, just a little child, like a parrot. Okay. You hear the way, let's say, your mommy or daddy say, Sujan, come here, right? Sujan, do this, do that. And you hear your parents say this word. And just like any parrot, just like any young baby, you simply do your best to imitate, to mimic this word. In the beginning, it may not sound right, but the more you hear your parents, the more you see them saying this word, the more accurately you will begin to mimic this word. The word will begin sound correctly. And if you do it a lot of the time, you will never block at this word. Never. There is nothing to block at, because the way we are moving our tongue for each and every word never changes. Once you have learned, have trained your tongue to say a word, guess what? It will never change. It will always be the same. And again, if we go back to writing, it's gonna be the same. If you have trained your hand to write the word Sujan, Sugan, will you ever even attempt to write it in any different way? Of course not. You will always do the same, and the same. This is why once we have trained ourselves to move our muscle that is responsible for doing something, writing, hand, speaking, tongue, once we have trained our muscle to do it in balance, remember we talked about balancing. When we feel comfortable, we are in balance. Okay, we will always be in balance and we will never get blocked at a word. Never. Now, you may not get blocked at this word that you have trained your tongue to produce, but you may get blocked on the other one that you haven't trained your tongue to produce yet. You gotta understand that each and every word we say is like a dance, like a different type of a dance. And I think I've used this analogy many times. If I have trained my body to be in balance for dancing walls, I don't know if you know about that, the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it's a waltz. Okay, you got to make certain movements of your body. If you have trained your muscles to be in balance, to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and never fall, you will always do it for the rest of your life. The same way, you will never get blocked. Your body will never get blocked on moving because you have trained. Once you have trained it, it's in the muscles of your in the memory of your muscles. Hi, Trier 6. I recognized your name. I think you are following me on TikTok. I recognized your name. Hi, Sandy. Wow, good to see you here. Hi, Sandy. Okay. So Sujan wrote, you use every part of your mouth to speak. It's not just the tongue. I know how the words are formed. Of course. Of course it's not. But Sujan, listen, when the tightrope walker walks on the rope, what is it? Is it just his legs that he is moving on the rope when he's walking? Nope. It's a lot of other muscles, right? I'm going to grab my balance beam that I like the most. It's a ruler I'm using, okay? So imagine this is my balance beam and I am a tightrope walker, right? I'm walking. Why would I even need to have a balancer, a balance beam? Why? Because there are so many other muscles are involved in walking. It's not just my legs. Yes, but what is it that I must be focused on? I must be focused on my legs because this is what makes me walk. I'm walking. Do you understand? This is what I do when, see, I already learned where my balance point is, and I can easily, right away, I can get my ruler to balance on my finger because I have learned it. I have learned it in my finger. I have learned it in my mind. I have basically learned the whole balance idea. I'm in balance when I want to keep the ruler on my finger. But if I focus on something else and a lot of other things, guess what? I may look away and move my finger unconsciously and the ruler is going to fall. So you need to understand that the tongue is the caboose, is the car engine of the train. Whatever other muscles are, they're going to just follow the tongue. Yes, a lot of other muscles will follow the tongue. But the tongue is the main guy. Now, let me ask you another question. When you are writing, let me grab a pen, right? So you may say the same. Whenever we are writing, it's not just our hand that is writing, right? By the way, how many muscles are in our hand? One finger, another finger, all fingers. It's a whole bunch of muscles grabbing the pen and moving it. Is it just our hand involved in writing? No. It's the whole posture, how we sit, how we grip the pen. A lot of other muscles are involved. But what is it that we must focus on when we are writing? Moving our hand, because yes, it is the whole hand of all the muscles. Plenty of muscles are involved, but it's one set of muscles. And the main muscle is the whole hand, moving the hand in the right way. I hope you understand, Sujan. Okay. So I don't see Sujan's questions. I don't see any feedback. An example of it, Trier, I'm not, Miss, can you tell me what ringtone is? Of course I can. Hi, Narayan Shashgr. Shashgr. See, I'm a stutterer right away because I don't know how to read the name. Your nickname are unpronounceable for my tongue. My tongue is not trained to produce these unfamiliar words. This is why I am blocking on these words. My tongue is not trained. Okay, Trier, it's very simple. The ringtone is the melody that we produce with our tongue in one movement from top to bottom of our mouth. And what ringtone is? Can you tell me what ringtone is? This is what it is. It's one movement of the tongue from top to bottom. That's it. And when the tongue moves, I'll show you. I actually am using a toy that I have, right? So what is the ringtone? The ringtone is a free fall of the tongue in our mouth. So, and while the tongue moves from top of the mouth to the bottom, am I doing it correctly? Yes. From top to the bottom, boom, boom. This is what the tongue does. And as it moves, it produces from one sound, if it's a vowel sound, ah, oh, ooh, eh, and so on, right? But if it is not just one vowel sound, then it's a sequence of from 2 up to 5 sounds. In some languages could be even 6, I don't know. But in terms of other languages, but I know that in Russian and English languages that I speak, I know some words that have up to 5 sounds in one movement of the tongue, produced by one movement of the tongue. Here is an example. Ma, 2 sounds. Sta, 3 sounds. Pra, 3 sounds. Stra, 4 sounds. Mkta, 5 sounds. It's all about the free fall of the tongue, free movement of the tongue, free, with zero effort, zero. No, it's just kind of the law of gravitation, gravity law. Are you familiar with the law of gravity, natural law of gravity? When we drop something and it just falls down, we don't need to have invest any strength, just like this. Whoops. See, this is the ball. And I let it go. And guess what? Let it go. And it works freely. I don't need to push anything. And guess what you people who stutter do? You keep pushing, and you keep pushing where? Which direction do you push your tongue? Which direction? Up, up, up. It's all up, 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 right? Instead of letting your tongue drop down, down, according to the way Mother Nature created our tongue. And Mother Nature has given us the tongue to create ringtones, not sounds, single sounds, not syllables, not words, not phrases. Mother Nature has equipped us with a perfect tool, with a perfect instrument for creating melodies of our voice called ringtones. Trya, did you understand? I hope you do. And if you don't, you got to come to me. I will explain it to you practically, because I can talk forever here, sitting in front of you and talk and talk and talk. But you got to come to me, take at least one day of the class and learn it practically. Okay? Let me see who else is here. Try it. Is it specifically top to bottom, or can it be bottom to top? Bottom to top is stuttering, my dear. That's what you do. Whenever you put your tongue up, look, just look, try it. What happens when you push up? You push your tongue against the top of your mouth, against the roof. Listen. This is what we have. And this is what stuttering is, when people who stutter push their tongue against the ceiling. It's the ceiling. And this is why you become all tensed. Whenever you push, this is the reason you block. You push against the roof in your mouth. The tongue shouldn't be going up ever. It goes a little bit higher, but the only reason the tongue goes up just because it needs to go down. We need to drop it. And also the tongue goes down to produce consonant sounds. All consonant sounds are produced at the higher level in our mouth. This is why the tongue goes up, but immediately drops down to create a ringtone. Immediately. Okay. Trya wrote, yes, I do. Thank you so much. Of course, Trya. Okay. So Sujan wrote, how do you train your tongue? I notice my tongue gets stiff when I stutter. You train your tongue with the teacher first. Because you have, see, Sujan, you're not a 5-year-old baby, right? When the 5-year-old baby learns to speak, he never asks these kind of questions. He just does it. He looks at the mommy or daddy, looks how daddy or mommy uses the tongue, and he simply imitates just like a parrot. Just like a parrot. But because you are not a 5-year-old baby, you got to come to the teacher. I'll show it to you practically. How to train your tongue. Because in order to train your muscle to do something, you need to go to the teacher. How did you learn to write? First, you came to the teacher, or maybe your mommy was your teacher, explaining to you, here is the pen. You hold it between these fingers and you move it like this, right? And if you did it like this, if you did it like this, some people I still see do this in this country at least. Sometimes I come to a receptionist and I see how they are moving their pen in this way. It's weird, but for them it's working. It's not comfortable, but they're doing it. But if something needs to be done correctly, it has to be this grip, right? And if the teacher looks at you and sees that you are holding your pen like this, the teacher will say, no, you put your pen like this, and you use your index finger to apply a little pressure. This finger is very important to be on top, to apply pressure on a pen. And these three fingers are supporting the pen. This is why it's so important to hold the pen like this, not like this, not like this, but in the correct way. So exactly the same way I work when I work with my students. I look at them, the way they use their tongue, and I explain how they're supposed to use their tongue. In one day, in about 6 hours of my time, I explain it very well. And most of my students begin speaking normally because they begin using their instrument, their tool, not for writing, for speaking. They begin using it correctly, and stuttering goes away right at this moment. Right at this moment. So, Sujan, to answer your question, you need to understand that anything I say here is, of course, important, but I don't know you. I haven't seen your mistakes. I don't know what you are doing incorrectly and what you need to learn from me. Okay? So, how do you train your tongue? Exactly in the same way how people train their body muscles for dancing, for riding a piano, for playing basketball, dribbling the ball, for whatever else we learn, for learning to use some tools like a shovel to dig the soil, right? To build something with a screwdriver, with a hammer. It's all about learning how to use your body muscles. And where do you go to learn? To a teacher, to a coach, to your mommy, to your daddy, to your whatever, to a master of this muscle skill. Do you understand me? Please give me feedback if you do understand me. In order to learn to do something with your muscles, you got to be a little kid. This is why I started my podcasting today, that I truly want to help young children. I would love to train parents to explain to them how they don't need any speech therapist. They simply need to become perfect role models for speaking for their children. They need to model naturally balanced speech to their kids. So kids, when they're young, could be just like that parrot. Look carefully at what the parents do. Carefully watch and listen what the parents do and imitate their parents' speech actions. The problem is too many parents are not perfect speakers. They're not. They are prolonging words. They're stumbling. They're mumbling. They're going like over the speed limit. They're not good speakers. And this is exactly what you people who stutter mimic. When you were young, you learned from your parents. I'm saying it not to blame, of course, your parents, because your parents did their best. They didn't do it on purpose, right? They probably learned this way of incorrect speaking from their parents, from your grandmother and grandfather, who knows? But if the parents want to help their children to stop stuttering, to stop even worrying about speaking, they gotta become perfect role models for their children. Okay. Okay. Trier wrote, "Hi, Danny. Good to see you here. Can you teach us how to count ringtones, Miss? Because I am counting like counting syllables." Of course, because you don't know what the difference between syllables and ringtones. Yes, I can teach. But in order for me to teach you, you need to join my class because this will require 6 hours of my time, at least 6 hours of my time. Do you understand, Trier? Come to me, take at least these 6 hours, and I will be happy to teach you. I can't teach you in just a few minutes being live, doing live stream here. This is impossible. Yes, I can teach you what the ringtone is and what's the difference between syllables and ringtones. It's a big difference, big difference. And unfortunately, all the speech therapists don't know about this difference. They just never learned it. Okay, they're very nice people, they're very kind, they are doing their best to help you if you do go to speech therapist. But they don't know anything about ringtones because ringtones, the discovery of ringtones is the revolution in science and education. Not too many people are aware of that. Only the graduates of my school. Only the graduates, which is a big number. It's like over 10,000 people. A lot of people all over the world. But to compare with billions and billions people on the planet, it's like tiny little drop. It's a small particle. And of course, each and every graduate of my program knows only this much. Only this much. They know only what they need to know to get the balance, to learn how to balance their speaking anywhere, anytime in front of anyone. They learn how to balance their speech. And the moment they have trained their tongue and learned how to be in balance, not the tongue, but also the mind, right? Because it's the body and the mind. They need to balance, right? So the moment they have learned it, that's it. They don't need me anymore, and they don't need more information. Okay, more information. Okay, so Trier, all right, you said I have to bring my parents. Of course, because you are still a responsibility of your mommy and daddy. I cannot be with you all the time, right? Your mommy and daddy are. This is why they need to learn. They, your parents, they need to learn how to help you without anybody. Nobody. Only your parents. They are the only ones who can help you. They are the only ones who you look at and copy their behavior even unconsciously. Unconsciously. You just look at them and you do the same. You may not even realize, but you do copy the behaviors of your mommy and daddy. This is why when children come to me, they need to understand they need their mommy and daddy. Not only because mommy and daddy can pay for the class, which is also, of course, very important, but because nobody can help you guys. Nobody. Only your mom and dad. Unless your parents hire somebody, hire another helper, and this helper will be living with you and helping you doing your homework like a tutor. This is probably possible if your parents hire a tutor and this tutor will be sitting with us and working with us. I will train this tutor to help you and the tutor will be helping you. But this is quite an expensive way. I wouldn't go as a parent this way. because I know that each and every parent can be a perfect role model if they want, if they want to help you. Okay, so trier, I don't know, could I get my big brother? Your big brother, I don't know how old he is, and I don't know if he can pay for your education. Is your big brother working? Is he making a lot of money to pay for your education? I doubt, but I don't know your family. Maybe he is. Maybe your brother is the only one who is around you. I don't know your situation. Okay. So, but the bottom line, we are what our parents are. If our parents don't care about us, then we're gonna just grow up like the seaweed without care, without anybody taking care of us. Okay, so if you're lucky, you're gonna be fine. And you know, trier, I'll give you a very simple example of myself. Okay, oh, I see that you left. But anyway, when I was born in the family of two PhD professors. My parents both were PhD professors at the University of Education. They were and still are perfect speakers. Perfect. And I remember when I had a hard time learning to read out loud. I remember I was like, I can't do it. I'm not good at this. My parents didn't even allow me to even have this thought. They said, what do you mean you can't? Okay, you can't? Let's sit down. Let me model for you how to do it. My parents worked with me. They tutored me. They trained me. They guided me. My parents. Everything I have today in my life, I thank my parents. Of course, they guided me. They supported me. They invested even money in something I needed. I remember I wasn't good at chemistry, physics. I mean, my father was a physicist. That wasn't a problem. He tutored me, but math just wasn't my thing. I wasn't strong with math, chemistry, and my parents invested in tutoring because without that, I couldn't graduate from high school. So if your parents are concerned about you and they will be willing to invest in your future, of course, they will put their minds together and they will collect the funds and they will invest in the class that they will be taking together with you, trier. They will be taking with you this class because after I leave, your parents will be your trainers. They will be your coaches, not me. My job as a teacher just to show to you how to do it correctly. And then you gotta adjust your muscles to do it this correct way. Just like with anything else. Remember I mentioned the teacher shows to you, you grip your hand, the pen like this, and you move like this. You write every letter like this, one standard way. And then it's your job and the job of your parents to make sure you're doing it correctly. This is what I've been doing for over 10 years with people who start of any age. But when I work with children, parents sometimes can't understand that they must be the teachers. Sometimes when it's like 15, 16-year-old child, they think, okay, you took the class, you're really good, you're speaking fine now, and they just walk away. They are not a part of this process. And then sometimes they come back to me, oh, my child is doing this, my child is doing that. I'm like, did I teach you to do this? Did I teach you the parents to teach this to your child? No. But why your child is doing it? Why don't you stop him doing this and model for your child? No, you don't do this. You do this. It's the responsibility of the parents. Parents. And no one can do a better job than parents, because you, children, are their projects. It's their responsibility. Only your mom and dad can help you. Nobody else. Who am I for you? I'm nobody. Some strange lady from internet. Who are you? You don't trust me. You don't know me, right? And why do you need to look at me? You need to look at your parents. They're the ones who love you. They're the ones who care for you, about you. Am I right, Trier? Okay. Trier wrote, Miss, I watch your balance video. By the way, the video was amazing. Can you tell me, when we talk, do we use our external ear or internal ear, and how to use it? You're asking good questions, Trier. We use both internal and external ear. It depends what we want at the moment. With our external ear, we listen to external noises. With our internal ear, we listen to the noise we make when we move our tongue, period. Even in your words, internal, external. This is the answer to your question, Trier. You're a smart guy. I like that. Good job. Okay, so whenever our noise is outside, we use this ear. This is why they have this shape, see? Like this. They are like a funnel, right? Funnel. It's they catch the noise. The noises are going like big thing, right? To catch a lot of waves, sound waves, and then they go to a small hole in our ear. See, big and small in our ear. So the sound waves go like and go inside. Okay. So the bottom line is that when we speak, we balance the body and the mind. It's all about balancing. All about balancing. Okay. So FF Fire Gaming, how the tongue helps when I have problems starting a word. This is an amazing question. You know what? I again forgot to show the message. Let's talk about it. How the tongue helps when I have problems starting a word. Great, great question. In order to start the word, what do you need to do? You need to begin moving your tongue. How can you move your tongue if you don't know how to do it? This question is similar to if you said, how the hand helps if I have a problem starting writing the word. How the hand helps. It's exactly the same question. I don't know, FF Fire Gaming, if you're still there. How does the hand help you to write the word if you don't know how to write it? It's very simple. You need to know how to move your hand. If you know how to move the hand for the word, let's say it's fire, right? The word fire. The guy's nickname is FF Fire Gaming. So if it's the word fire, your hand needs to be trained to move. F-I-R-E. The hand must be trained to write this word. And if it's not trained, will you be able to move the hand? Nope. You will be you will again have a problem starting writing the word. Do you understand that? Any problem of starting to move the muscle can be helped with knowing how to move this muscle. This is very, very simple. Okay. Hope F Fire Gaming, you are still there. Okay. Hide. Okay. Trier writes, Miss, you also said memory. How do we use it? Do we make more memory of us taking or talking accurately so we can build up the memories? Do we make more memory of us talking accurately so we can build up the memory? Of course. Of course, look at you. Smart guy. Of course. How do we learn to do anything with our muscles? The more we do it correctly, the easier it becomes. It becomes a habit. Habit. How did you learn Trier to walk? How? When you were a baby and started walking, the first steps, you moved one leg after another one. The first thing you did, what? Boom! You fell down on your butt, right? The distance between your little butt and the floor was very small. It wasn't painful. So you sat down back on the floor, but then you got up and started balancing your body again, balancing. And finally, you have balanced to move your leg one after another, one after another. And when you have figured it out, the memory was built. The new neurons have been built in your mind, in your brain. To build the neurons in your brain, you need to move the muscles. Muscles, muscular memory needs muscle movements. Thank you for the information, Miss. Of course. This is how I work. I give information. This is why I do recommend you bring your mommy and daddy. Bring your mommy and daddy. Do you stutter? Do you stammer? Do you have a hard time speaking? Bring your mommy and daddy to me. Help them understand that they don't need speech therapists. They don't need any other advisors. They simply need to become role models for their children. They need to model for their children how to balance perfectly normal speech. I will give to your parents a perfectly balanced, perfect balance beam. That's how I wanted to say, a perfect balance beam. And yes, even your parents would need to fix their own speech. Yes. Listen to the way your mom and dad speak. Do they repeat words? Do they stumble? Do they say all the time, do they go like this with their eyes all the time? Yes, they do. I see it. When parents with their child come, step inside of my classroom, I know we begin with the parent. We must begin with the parents. And I will tell you a short story. Hi, Lalit Sharma. I think your name also looks familiar. Okay, good to see you again. I want to share with you a short story, how I once worked with one family. It was a family of American people, okay, and their child was 15 years old. The family wasn't sure what to expect. And I recommended, you know what, don't take the 3-day course. I certainly recommend you take the 3-day course because your child basically has no speech. This is what I saw. His speech was totally unintelligible. I couldn't even understand. At 15 years old, I couldn't even understand this boy. I didn't understand what he was saying. So there were definitely, I could see a lot of mechanical problems. Mechanical. Okay, the child didn't know what to do with his tongue, how to use it, and how to speak correctly. So I started the class together with my mentor. We started the class. It was a one-day course. I said, don't invest too much money, just invest a little bit to begin with. And then you'll see whether it's going to work or not for you. I cannot tell you how happy I am I did that I didn't invite this family for to have a 3-day course. I mean, I'm so happy. Anyway, to make it short, the class started. Both mommy and daddy left the room. I'm like, huh? What happened? Where are your mommy and daddy? They were sitting, talking to me a little bit. And then when we started teaching, they were there for a short while and then they left. I'm like, can you call your parents? Yeah, mommy, daddy, come here. Finally, someone came and mommy said, he is 15 years old. Let him deal with his problem. It's not my problem, it's his problem. And she left. From that moment, I realized that this session is not going to be a success because the child has significant problem, significant. And the mother was convinced that her child was sick and that he needed a cure and that what we were talking about was wrong. From the very beginning, she started fighting me, started fighting my mentor, who was also part of this session. This is what happens usually in the beginning. My mentor is with me, but he doesn't speak English. He speaks only Russian. That's why he usually stays with me for an hour, maybe a couple of hours. He leaves and we continue working with the family. And guess what? The mother started fighting. No, she would say, no, what you're saying is wrong. She was telling it to the teacher that I was wrong. She didn't know anything. I mean, she still believed in her mind. She believed all the lies they put in her head when she went to different speech therapists for years. And she didn't want to listen. Even though they did invest a little bit of money, she believed still the lies and she didn't want to learn anything different. She didn't want it. Of course, in this situation, the class didn't go well. Didn't go well. Every word, I would say, she would say 100 words against. She didn't want to listen. She didn't want to learn. And the child, I felt so sorry for this boy. We still worked with him when the parents were out. And by the way, when they were out, the child started making a progress because he was 15 years old, of course. He understood us. And he started making an amazing process. Amazing. All of a sudden, he started saying his first words in his life. He sounded like a normal human being. But the moment the mother would come in, he slipped. He again started doing the old stuff. And guess what? I understood it because he knew this is what his mother wanted him. His mother wanted him kind of to prove that he is a stutterer for life. I mean, it's really hard to explain what some irrational people think. Irrational. But at the end of this course, of course, we left each other not happy with each other. That wasn't fun. So this is the time when we started talking about one-day course for the families, because let's look at each other. Let's see if we can work. I mean, I can work with anybody, but you gotta want to learn. You gotta want it. If what I say doesn't make sense to you, don't even come to me. If you want your child to continue struggling for the rest of his life, don't even come to me. If you truly believe that your child is sick, then it's your choice. If you truly believe that it is good when you go to school, when you come to school and ask the teachers, please don't ask my child to speak or read out loud in the classroom. I don't want him to feel embarrassment. If you truly believe this is the way to go, then don't come to me, because I am for experience. And if your child has difficulty saying words accurately, then instead of turning him into a lazy bum, turning him into a mute human, like humanoid monkey that cannot speak well, you better teach them how to say each and every word accurately, with ease and confidence. All you need to do just to be a perfect role model for your child. If you don't know how to be the one, I am here. I will explain it to you. Be a role model for your child. Just be honest with yourself. Do you speak perfectly? Do you, if you are the parent, do you truly say only words? Or you use a lot of fillers yourself? Or you repeat words too many times? Or you prolong the beginning of the words? Or do you move your hands too much? These are all incorrect use of your speech instrument. I know it. I see it clearly. And I can show it to you. Okay? So let me wave to others people who joined us. Miss, how come something I stutter like block even when my tongue is in the bottom like I? I don't know. I need to see you. I don't know what you're doing. I can speculate nonstop about this. One speculation, maybe you're thinking about the name of the letter I. Maybe you want to say I. Maybe you don't know what's the next movement of your tongue. Maybe you don't know what the word is. I don't know, because you gotta be in balance. You gotta balance your body and mind. When we speak, we use both parts of our body-mind computer. It's a body-mind computer. Even when you say E, people don't speak in one E unless you're a Spanish-speaking guy or you're Russian like I am. We do have the word E there, right? But even E is not truly E. It could be E, it could be A, it could be, I don't know what your problem is, trier. I need to see you. But the bottom line, it's not really that important. When you know how to balance, look, see, 7.5 inches. Once you have learned how to do it correctly, who cares why you make mistakes? Who cares? Let's say I'm in a hurry and I put my ruler like this. Will it stay? No. I want to make sure I put it in 7.5 inches. That's it. Then the balance is there. I will never ever ask, how come my ruler dropped off my finger? Why? I will never ask it, because I know where my balance is. My balance is right here, 7.5 inches. Do you understand it? The same is speaking. Whenever your mommy or daddy show you how to speak, they show you that you can say accurately and with ease each and every word. All you need to do just to be a parrot, mimic it and learn how to say this or that word with ease and accuracy. This is the natural way how all children learn to speak. All, not just you, trier, all people on the planet, and even parrots. I have behind my computer, I have a picture of a parrot. I always point to it when I have a conversation with my students. Parrots, 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 or other birds. They say ravens are great communicators because they listen, they watch a human speaks, and they mimic. They need to hear many, many times, and they need to watch many, many times, and they all of a sudden they begin mimic. Parrot, 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 or whatever words parrots say. This is exactly how we learn, trier. But I don't know how old you are. I think you told me you were 15 or something. So if you are 15, of course, you need to, okay, wave. You need your mommy and daddy help you. Oh, all right, try a road. All right, I usually, the vowel sounds that I stutter on, that's why. Vowel sounds are the way we speak. Every vowel sound is you. Vowel sound is the main ringtone. When we say only one vowel sound, it's a ringtone as well. But when we speak, we almost never say a single vowel sound. Never. As again, I noticed, I mentioned E. E is a vowel sound, yes, and it's a ringtone because the tongue, the mouth is wide open. When we say E, E, this is where our tongue is, right? On the very bottom of the mouth, E. You can say trier, no problem. But we don't speak in single sound E unless you want to say the word and in Spanish or in Russian. E is the word in Russian and in Spanish, I don't know about other languages, that has only one ringtone, E. But what comes next? Do you know that? Most likely you don't. This is why you stumble. This is why you stumble. Okay, do you understand, trier? Okay. So let me see what other questions. Let me go. Okay, strange. I don't have any questions on Facebook. Okay, no questions on Facebook. LinkedIn, also quiet. YouTube asks questions. Okay, so let me repeat again. The topic of today's conversation. I've been live for an hour already. Wow. Where did the time go? So this specific live stream today, multi-streaming, is for parents who stutter and for young children who stutter, because this is what I have been experiencing lately. A lot of young children, mostly teenagers, of course, from 12 to 18 years old, come to me and they want to fix their speech. I guess it's because I'm really active on TikTok and not that active on YouTube. Maybe this is why. But, and as you know, TikTok is what young children watch, right? Instagram joined. Instagram. Wow, this is an interesting name, Instagram. Okay. So the topic of today's live stream is My child stutters. How can I help? Yes, you can. Only you, the parent, can help. Of course, if you're already not a young child, you don't really need your parents that much unless you don't have money for investing in the class, okay? For investing in your education. But up until 18, I would say 25 years old, you need your mommy and daddy because you still depend on them. You are still their responsibility. It is the responsibility of mommy and daddy to make sure that your child has learned the life skills, the main life skill from you. You, the parent, the only one who can teach your child to speak, period. No one else can. And I am here to do the parent training. I usually work with the whole family. I explain to parents what naturally see, this is my balance beam. Balanced beam is when we speak. I give the standards, the norms of naturally balanced speaking. I teach it not just to a child, but mostly to parents. Because it's easy for me to teach the child. Children usually don't ask too many questions. I mean, you just tell them, do this, and they do it. It's the parents who always ask questions because they are already adults. And because they've heard too many lies about what speaking is and what they, as concerned parents, must do to help their children. You know, I'm going to do the next live stream next year. Instagram, are you an SLP? I used to be. No more. I dropped this profession 10 years ago. I left this profession 10 years ago. I used to be. I used to have all the credentials. I used to carry them all. I let it all go. I'm no longer a conventional speech and language therapist pathologist for a very simple reason. I learned a lot of truth. I learned a lot of correct information that resonates with reality today. Instagram. Don't know your real name. Don't know about who you are. If you are a person who stutters, or you are a person who works with people who stutter, or you are a parent of a child who stutters. I don't know who you are, but I can tell you one thing. Over the 10 years of my direct work with people who stutter, with their families, with parents of a child who stutters, I have had a 100% success in each and every session. Even the session I just mentioned, I just told the story about when the family came to me and wasn't really interested in learning. They wanted to see a miracle. And I'm not a miracle worker. I am a teacher. I am a pioneer of a brand new profession called Etalon Speech Educator. Etalon stands for perfection, for the natural speech norms, natural perfection. Natural, this is the key word. And I share with my students the revolution in science and education. Not even one speech therapist or pathologist is familiar with the information I share. They don't know. They're wonderful people, I'm sure. I was one of them 10 years ago. I worked for Los Angeles Unified School District as a speech and language, how did they call me? Speech, language, and hearing rehabilitative service provider. That's how they called me. But I don't want I mean, I didn't want to do it anymore because it was too, I mean, it wasn't helpful. It was hurtful. So let's do it now because I don't see any more questions. This is the sign for me that I got to wrap it up, this session. Next, probably Friday, if I don't have a student, I will do another live stream. And again, I'm going to go on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Instagram. Did I mention Instagram? Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. I will come here and let's talk about how stuttering takes place. What happens? Why people who stutter, children, begin to stutter. Let's talk about it in detail. I am ready to talk about it. So Instagram, if you are interested, let's communicate. Let me explain it to you. And if it makes sense to you, let's continue our conversation. Trier wrote, Miss, how many ringtones are in my ear? In your ear? Nothing is in your ear, my dear. Your ear is just an instrument. It doesn't have anything inside. Okay? But your memory, of course, I don't know what your memory, what the size of your memory is. And again, I don't know how many languages you speak. I don't know. You're asking good questions. I see that you're trying to figure it out yourself. And name, I meant. No, I understand. In your name, Trier. You want to know, I can tell you how many ringtones are in your name. This I can tell you, but how will it help you considering that number one, I'm not sure I'm saying it correctly. Am I saying it correctly, Trier? Am I saying correctly your nickname? Trier. Am I? If I am, then Trier. 3 ringtones. Trier. Or maybe if I had to say Trier, not Trier. You are, yeah, you are Trier. See, even the way you divide it by syllables. We don't speak like this. Tra, ya. But if there is a R, it's another ringtone, R. Tra, ya, R. Trier. 3 ringtones. But how will it help you? There are so many words on the planet. So many words, and each of them has, let me show it to you, Trier. You're a good kid. Do you see this book? The book is called Correcting Speech of People Who Stutter. This book has a whole matrix. See the way I call it? The matrix. The Matrix. Remember the movie The Matrix? Remember it? I'm sure you have watched it. Where you were asked, I mean, not you, but the main character was asked to take the red or the blue pill. Remember that? So those who want to speak well, they have to take the red pill. The bottom line. It's enough. You've been taking these blue pills for many, many years. It's enough. Okay. So the reason I'm talking about it, because here is the, you see this is a whole table of the ringtones. A whole table. Each and every ringtone that each and every person who speaks English language must train their tongue to produce. So if you want to know about ringtones, get the book. It's only $50 from my website. $50 from my website. You download it on your device, open the page and see what it is. Okay? Here in the book, it says speech sound cascades of the tongue. I think I fixed it and now it's called ringtones. just with a simple word ringtones. There is nothing you can do to solve my problem. You know what, my dear? Let me show. Tarek, I don't know how to call it. You're absolutely right. I can do nothing, but you can. You can do everything to solve your problem. It's so simple. It's very simple to solve your problem. But before you can solve your problem, you need to understand what your problem is. Tarek. See, I don't even know how to call you. See, it bothers me that I don't know how to say your name correctly. My tongue is not trained to say accurately your name. I'm going to say Tarek the way it's written and the way I am used to sounding out. So the bottom line, you want to solve your problem? Come to me. Let's see what your problem is. I am the teacher, and the teachers can only tell you how you can solve your problem in the shortest time possible. Shortest time possible, Tarek. This is my job. When my students come to me, I give them a very specific test. I explain to them what is it their problem that they have. And I give them a very, very short blueprint. I give them the path, very short, like shortcut. Not going around the way speech therapists do, around and around and around, never get to the point. No, I give to each and every student a shortcut. This is what you need to do. No questions asked, no doubting, no worrying about anything. Just do this. And when my students begin doing it, they gain their balance. They begin balancing their speech in almost no time. No, yeah, sometimes you need time, of course. I mean, they understand in almost no time how to do it. And the moment they understand, guess what? They begin speaking without stumbling, without mumbling, without thinking about it, without getting distracted by watching other people, by thinking about what other people are thinking about them, blah, blah, blah. I can go on and on. They simply walk in speech with their tongue. They can balance your speech. But guess what? Nobody can do it for you, of course. There is nothing you can do to solve my problem. Good job, Tarek. Great, great comment. There is nothing I personally can do. I can only tell you what you can do. And the difference between what I do and any conventionally trained speech therapist, pathologist, psychologist, neurologist, any representative of a medical profession, the big difference is I know that you are not sick. You don't need a doctor. You don't. You simply need to learn to balance your speaking. The problem is that you don't have a balance beam. You don't have it. You don't know what you need to do. And this is my job. I give to each and every student, I explain what they need to do. And when they begin doing it, that's it. They begin speaking. And guess what? They begin speaking better than other people on the planet. They begin speaking better than their parents. This is the case. At the end, even of the first day of the class, it's amazing to me. I just sat together with the parents for 6 hours and explained to them that you don't need to say, you need to say the word. You don't need to repeat what you have already said. You heard. that the word or the ringtone has come out already. Why do you need to repeat it? No, don't repeat. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. And when I am explaining this to my students, let's say young children, they begin speaking fine. But the moment they appear, begin speaking, the parents begin, and they begin stumbling, mumbling, and the child can't hear that. The child can't see. And guess what? I will leave, but you will remain with your child, and the child will forget about some speech teacher. The child trusts only the parents. The parents. And the child will again slip back to repeating words, to moving the eyes like this, to saying filler sounds, filler vocalizations. The child will struggle. This is why I dream about teaching parents first how to model for their children naturally balanced speech. And guess what? When the parents begin balancing their own speaking, their own life improves tremendously. They become better communicators. They become better communicators at their work. Their parents' professional careers improve. Parents. I'm not even talking about the child. The child, it's easy to teach a child, very easy. The problem is the stuttering parents. The parents who don't even realize that the way they speak, they simply model stuttering for their children. Okay, someone wrote here, let me see. Trier wrote again, Miss, last question. Okay, Miss, is it possible that sometime when people who stutter talk, they use their external ear instead of their internal ear? Of course it's possible. Yes, this is exactly what they do. And they attempt to listen to the external noises instead of what they're talking about. This is the problem. Yes, Trier, that's what they do. Because one thing I notice is that hearing is very important sometimes. When I hear myself in a certain way, I have so much control of my speech. Exactly. Exactly. But you gotta learn how to listen, what to listen to yourself, what to listen, because you don't know what to listen to. I teach this in this class. Okay, I see a few people are still watching, but you know what, guys? It's 1 hour, 23 minutes I've been live, and I guess this is enough of my time. So what I'm going to tell you that if you have a child who stutters, if you are a child, a teenager who stutters, you got to schedule a free, check this out, a free video call with me. Yes, it has to be a video call. And I have a system set up for that. If you go to livestutterfree.com, www.livestutterfree.com, let me type it in for you. Okay, live. If you go to my website, livestutterfree.com, and you see, you click on the link, there is a link schedule, I forgot, watch the live webinar, watch the webinar, something like this. This is my webinar I have I have created a couple of years ago. And if you watch it together with your mommy and daddy, if you are a teenager, stuttering teenager, you gotta bring your mommy and daddy. If they don't care about the way you speak, I am sorry for you. You will continue to struggle. There is nothing I can do about it. But if you can convince your mommy and daddy to come to the website, you register for the webinar, you drag them to watch the webinar, watch it together with your mommy and daddy. I'm now thinking about creating a new webinar directly for your mommy and daddy, just for the parents, so they could understand how confused they are about your problem. Again, I'm going to talk about this. Unfortunately, too many parents don't believe you even have a problem. They don't. They say, what are you talking about? Why are you crying? Okay, go talk. You have the tongue, go talk. In a way, I understand them. But if you truly feel that you cannot move forward and it's frustrating for you, if you're crying, if you're emotional, if you already are afraid of communicating with other children, you don't want to go to parties, to a birthday party, because you're afraid that you may stumble during this party, this is already too big of a chore you have, too big of a problem you have. You gotta bring your parents to the webinar, listen to it first, together, and schedule a free first. I'm repeating, free first. Say, repeat it 3 times on purpose. Free first video call with me, Anna Dieter. This is very important. You schedule the call with me. And don't forget to join, because unfortunately, too many times someone schedules the call and doesn't come. I sit and I waste my time sitting and waiting for you. Okay? So be considerate of my time. It's free. So after we converse with your mommy and daddy, then your mommy and daddy may decide whether they want to invest in their own parent training and, of course, in your training or not. Okay. So lots of love to you, my dear. Live Stutter-Free. Irina. Hi, Irina. This is, okay, there is something else here. Thank you so much, Anna. What days do you go live? You know, Trier, I am really dependent on my schedule. Sometimes I do it on Friday, sometimes on Thursday. It's always at the end of the week, because in the beginning of the week, I'm always busy. So, but I was supposed to have a class, scheduled a class this Saturday, and it got canceled. This is why I decided to go live. So the only thing I can do announcements on TikTok. You probably heard my announcement. This is why you're here. And yes, I do it. I do my best to do it once a week. I do my live presentations. But Trier, you don't need to wait for my next stream. All you need to do, just schedule the free call with me and bring your mommy and daddy. I don't think they don't care about you, right? Do you think they love you? Do you think they do care about you? Then bring them to this conversation. Okay. Also, are you telling me to bring my parent because I am underage or because you want them to help me? Both, Trier. Both. You're definitely underage if you are only 15 years old. You don't work, you don't earn money, you can't pay for the class. You understand? This is my job. I work. And the students that I teach, they must invest in their education. I teach them, okay? And I spend, if it's a 3-day course, I spend 3 days of my life. Just forget about everything else. I only teach. Do you think it costs some money? In adult life, every work must be paid, trier. I know you don't know about this yet. You don't understand this yet. But this is the way adult life is. You go to work, you give your time, you give your energy, and you get something in return. And what is it we get in return in today's adult world? Money. Of course, money. It's when I have the money, I can buy all these devices that I am using to do my lives, to do TikTok and stuff. It's pretty expensive. Okay. Only when my students invest in their education, they give me the money and I use this money for paying, hiring maybe some other people to help me with things, with technical things that I cannot do, okay, on my own because my eyes don't see well already. Okay. Trier wrote, wow, Trier, woo! He wrote, Miss, I work. Congratulations, Trier. This is why you're so smart, because you work already. Good job, Trier. If I can pay for the class, would not bring my parents, still be a problem. Oh, yes, because you still live with your parents. Unfortunately, your parents still model for you. And if you have a problem, it means your parents are not good role models. You live with your parents, you model. I mean, your parents model for you and you unconsciously mimic their behavior. You listen to what they say. Your parents must be involved in this process. I'm glad that you work. This is very good sign. It means that even if your parents decide to help you, you can invest in yourself as well. So your parents will invest and you will invest. It's going to be easier on your parents. Good job. But yes, you need your parents. Yeah, I know my parents started yelling at me because I told them I still stutter. This is exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. This is why my heart goes for children who stutter. They are surrounded by lies, lies anywhere they go, lies, lies, lies. Everyone is telling these young children that they need to do breathing exercises, that they need to do relaxation exercises, that they need to accept that they stutter. These are all lies. And who is giving these lies? Who are spreading the lies? Including to your parents' ears. Your parents are listening to these lies and they believe. This is why they're yelling. You know why your parents are yelling, Trier? Because they feel the frustration. They feel the frustration. They don't know how to help you. This is why I want to help children like Trier. I am here to help you. Trier, go to my YouTube and go to playlist Children Who Stutter. You will find several pretty long videos of me working with families of children who stutter. Several. I just started working on the new website. I want to create a new website, but I'm stuck. I went there, I created even the page. I wanted to be a really, really simple one-page website. I even come up with the names. It's called School for Stutterers, number 4. But it's not available yet because I don't know even how to make it live. School for Stutterers. It's available. I mean, not available yet. I'm working on that. So, and I was amazed when I started looking for testimonials from my families that I have worked with, most of the time, of course, I work with adults because they are the only ones who can pay for themselves, right? So, but I have found 6 families, I mean, of course, I have worked with more families, but I have found 6 video testimonials of about, I mean, from their families that I worked with. I was like, you know what? It's time I work specifically with families, with parents, so they could understand that they don't need speech therapists. They don't need anybody. They need to train themselves to become perfect speakers. And then they can help their children. I mean, if it's a big price to become a perfect speaker, to become a perfect model for your own child, then what can I do? We are a reflection of our parents. Our parents, we are looking at our parents as if they were a mirror. Imagine you come to the mirror, trier. You look in the mirror, who do you see? You see yourself, right? This is what you see when you come to the parents. You look at the parents, you see the parents, and you reflect. You resonate with what they do. You looking at your parents in the same way how you're looking in the mirror. You resonate. This is why it's crucial that your parents are part of the class. Okay, guys, I see quite a few of you are watching, but no questions. Me watching your video on YouTube helped me more than anything so far. You know what I'm going to do, Trier? I'm going to... Okay, done. Save to photos. What I just did, I actually did a screenshot of your message. I did a screenshot. I'm going to make it for Instagram. Okay. So anyway, any other questions, guys? Because I've been live over an hour and a half. You can see I can go on and on because I know very well about the topic I'm talking about. Okay. And don't forget that when I teach the full 3-day class, I give a 100% success guarantee. 100% success. So once again, I recommend you go to livestutterfree.com. You click on it, and you can, of course, go through the website. You can go and see the testimonials, how I work with adults who stutter, how I work with families of children who stutter. But I recommend you go and register for the webinar about 4 steps to a stutter-free life. And I recommend, if you are a parent of a child who stutters, if you are a child who stutters, then go watch this webinar. I promise to you, you will leave this webinar changed. I have so many words that my students have said, the feedback about their feelings after watching that webinar. You don't have to spend a dime. Come in my classroom, watch the webinar, and then you decide what you want to do, if you want to invest in your child's education or not. If you want to invest in your child freedom to say anything he wants with ease, with accuracy, and of course, with confidence, anytime, anywhere. All right, bye, Miss Anna. Have a good rest of the day. Yes, Trier. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.